narcissist is they say they love you, and then they do everything in their power to make you insecure, exhausted, and burnt out. And then they resent you when it doesn't work. And so many people have this story when they come to me, and they're like, but Alex, if they don't care about me, then why do they keep coming back? Roaches come back too, right? People will come back if you allow them. But honestly, they think that you're a game that can be played with, that they can win with a little bit of convincing. Like, really think about that. They enjoy new games with you. See, there's something about you standing up for yourself and you walking away and loving the sound of your feet from what you don't deserve and declining small love that really excites them. It may not be their favorite game, okay? But they do get some satisfaction after winning you back. And then 2 weeks later, that behavior that they promised to never show again is right there. And I want to be clear with you because this has nothing to do with you. But I really hope that if you get met with this type of person, that you can box them up and return them to wherever they came from. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I know how hard it is being with somebody that you have to do mental gymnastics with, walk on eggshells with. Okay? But ask yourself, why am I not showing up for me and finding a way how to remove myself out of the situation? Because I believe you do deserve some damn safety. You do deserve a love that soothes your nervous system. And somebody that's playing games with your heart, ain't it? Somebody gonna take that broken heart one day and turn it to art. Love. Oh God.
5 things to expect when divorcing a narcissist. And they don't always do all of these things, but they are so common that you should anticipate that they're going to. Number 1, they are going to drag out those divorce proceedings for as long as they possibly can. When it comes to selling the house and splitting your assets, they don't care about getting a good deal. They care about using those proceedings to maintain control over you and maintain power over you for as long as possible, which is why they won't agree to anything, no matter how good the deal is. Number 2, whatever they accuse you of doing, they are doing, are going to do to you, or are seriously thinking about doing to you. Their accusations are confessions. Number 3, if you guys have kids, they are going to push for 50-50 custody. Not because they've ever been involved with the kids, not because they care about the kids, but because they care about how they look. And because they don't want to pay child support. And if they see the kids whatsoever throughout this proceeding, they're going to take a lot of selfies and post a lot about it on social media. They are going to try to look like mother or father of the year in that small amount of time that they do actually spend with the kids. Number 4, they are going to wage a massive smear campaign. Trust and believe that they are going to do their absolute best to turn your friends against you, your family against you, the court system against you, the neighbors against you, whoever will listen. And they're going to try and make you look crazy. They may do this incredibly overtly, or if they're a more sophisticated manipulator, they're going to do it subtly and covertly and insidiously. And it may well be done under the guise of them being worried about you or caring about you, because they just want what's best for you and the kids. And number 5, they are going to use the new supply as a prop. They are going to use parading around with the new supply as evidence that you are the problem, that they're happy now, that you are toxic, you are crazy, and it wasn't them, because look how happy they are with this new person. And look at how this new person just thinks that they're fantastic and how well they're treating them. And their friends and family are going to be so happy that they found someone that's so good for them. And this also feeds into their victim narrative that you were the problem all along and they really were long suffering. And they want you to believe that too. And drop a comment to let me know how many of these you've experienced. I'm a narcissistic abuse educator.
Let me tell you what marriage to a toxic, narcissistic man would look like. This was going to be your future. That discard, the fog, you coming out the fog is your blessing. Trust me, you are leveling up because this is what your life would have looked like otherwise. The day after you exchanged vows would be the beginning of the devaluing process. However, this devaluation would look a lot different than it did when you two were dating. Yeah, you would break up to make up, have that great makeup sex and get you all dick dizzy. And so you're back in the saddle trying to build and be stronger and better with every breakup. Legally, you are tied to this man. So he has no reason to keep any mask on. You about to see mask off for real. Okay? The rules are going to change. He is no longer going to pretend to care about what you want or what is meaningful to you. He literally has you. Okay? So the devaluing process is going to look a lot worse and it's going to come on very fast. He is going to continue to cheat on you. However, now he's not going to try to hide it. He has no reason to try to hide it because where are you going? Where are you going? And the reason I ask where are you going is because financially, he's already compromised you or he has set you up to be compromised. So now you're in a position where you can't leave. And if you could, he's going to make it very difficult. If you have children or if you are expecting, he is going to double down on his control tactics to keep your reality in question, to keep your emotions heightened. And he's going to invite his mama, his cousins, his sister to get in on bullying you. And you are going to have to be silent because what is most important is maintaining that image. You have now married him. Your role is to maintain that happy family unit. So you are going to be silenced even more than you were before because that is the expectation now that you are his wife. You're also going to be expected to give him sex whenever he wants it, however he wants it. If you don't, you have the threat of him coming home smelling like another woman. And again, what are you going to do about it? You will constantly be compromised at every turn. That is what marriage looks like to a narcissistic man.
When a narcissist can no longer control you, they will then begin a smear campaign against you, assassinating your character to anybody who will listen. The goal is to isolate you, badmouth you, so then when you begin to speak up about what happened to you, nobody believes you. Anybody who believes the smear campaign without hearing your side of the story wasn't on your side to begin with. They never liked you. The narcissist smears your name because what they are afraid of is exposure. Narcissists live in paranoia. They always fear being exposed because they know that what they do is wrong. They are aware of their malicious, abusive, and manipulative tactics. Narcissists also smear your name because they are desperate to regain control. If they cannot control you, they will try to control the narrative surrounding your name and your reputation. When a narcissist can no longer control you, they will then begin.
Narcissists and toxic people, marriage is the finish line. And if you're new here, I have narcissistic personality disorder. So, coming from the narcissist perspective, we want to get married. That way, we can turn it off. We turn it off when we get married. We don't add things to it. We don't get better. We don't transition into a better person once we get married. It's like we running the race. We cross that marriage finish line. We're like, done, got you. You're trapped now. While you, on the other end of the perspective, you think that marriage is going to make everything better. Maybe when we get married, he or she can go back to the person they were in the beginning of the relationship. I know they have the potential to go back to that person. I'm just hoping and praying that once we get married and have kids and things like that, it'll go back to the beginning. Newsflash, it does not get better. Adding kids, adding a marriage, adding a mortgage does not make toxic people better. it actually makes them worse because the more you add, the more they feel like they have you trapped. So narcissists see marriage as the finish line, whereas survivors and victims see it as the start. Hope this helps. For narcissists and
Okay, my turn. 5 things I'll never do after being married to a narcissist. 1, trust. I no longer immediately trust people. Trust is something that needs to be earned through me. 2, character. I do not fall in love with anybody unless I get to know their character first. So I need to know that your actions match your words. Are you who you really say you are? 3, I know now that other people's feelings are not my problem. I will not be trying to guess. There will be no more questions like, are you okay? Did I do something wrong? What's the matter? Yeah, if you can't use your big boy words to express to me that you have a feeling about something, don't expect me to ask you what's going on with you. You need to either come to me or we're done here. I ain't trying to figure that shit out. 4, I'll never not use boundaries again. I'll never not have firm boundaries, because if I apply a boundary and you don't like it, then guess what? I'm probably not for you, because me having boundaries is the space in which I can love myself and you simultaneously, because then we just get enmeshed and it gets messy, and I've been there, done that, not doing that again. And finally, number 5, I will never allow someone to make me question my own sanity again. Because if I apply 1 through 4 very well, chances are I'm going to choose someone who's a quality person who is worth my worth.
A narcissist doesn't get married because they want to be committed, dedicated, and faithful to that person. They don't get married because they love that person. They don't get married because they want to spend the rest of their lives with one and only one person. No, a narcissist gets married for how it makes them look, how they appear, and the status that it gives them in society, to the outside world, the people who don't really know them, and those that will never get close enough to them to really know them. They want to look as normal and accomplished as they possibly can. Therefore, they will do things that they don't really like to do or that they don't really want to do just to appear to be a better person, a person who fits in. They are self-loathing and they feel like they are an actual outcast in society. They don't really feel like they fit in. So they have to portray this image and do things to make them appear as if they fit in. If they get married or have children, then they would appear to be not so selfish, not so self-indulged. It would appear as if they cared about other people, which they don't. They are jealous of other people, other people's status, other people's success, how other people fit in to society. So they try to do things that those people do, making them look like they fit in and that they are actually a good person, which they are not. A normal person, which they are also not. A narcissist will give to a marriage everything opposite of what wedding vows actually mean, what they stand for, what they represent. They do not mean a single word when they say their wedding vows. They don't mean it. It's only words. The marriage is only a piece of paper to them. It holds no weight, no value, no commitment, no dedication. Everything that they do is to please an audience that they think that they have because they feel like they are superior and that everyone is watching them. Everyone wants to be like them. Everyone thinks that they are so great, so perfect, and that they have everything together. They live in a fantasy world of greatness, and they will do whatever they have to do to maintain that image of greatness, even though they know that in and of themselves, There is nothing great. A narcissist doesn't get married.
One of the worst things that a human can endure is marriage to a Jezebel, narcissist. People who have never been married to someone with the Jezebel spirit, narcissist, have no idea how demonic and evil the person operating in it is. People who have been duped and marry a person operating in the Jezebel spirit, which can be on a woman or on a man, endure some of the worst emotional abuse and can be physical or sexual abuse that a human can actually go through. Jezebel causes people to act like they are the greatest person on earth to the public, but behind closed doors, they will control, manipulate, demean, degrade, and try to destroy you as a person, destroy your reputation, and even try to cause you to want to die. Then if you try to get away from them through a separation or divorce, they will lie about you to as many of your friends, family, and church members as possible to cause them to think that you were evil to them and that they were the victim. Most never recover, and they go into a dark depression, sadness, and get sickness, and some want to kill themselves. It is very hard to forgive someone from your heart, which will cause demons to then torment you. So to be able to forgive all the horrible things that they said and did to you and your children, you must ask the Lord to show you how they were hurt in their childhood, and then choose to forgive them from your heart. You have to actually go to the person. You do it from the privacy and safety of your own home, and give all those toxic emotions that they cause you to feel, like you felt abused, you felt rejected, you felt betrayed, you felt lied about, not good enough, unworthy. You give those emotions to Jesus to heal. Then you command every demonic spirit that attached to your soul from them to go to the pit in Jesus' name. So I have a book called Freedom from Soul Wounds and Demons, helping thousands of people around the world to get healed of those wounds and to get delivered of those demonic spirits. You can get the book, again, What It Is Like Living with a Narcissist. Your cortisol hormones will be chronically activated. You will lose your personal boundaries. Your health will decline, your friends will disappear, your dreams and goals will be smashed, your money will be squandered. You'll do most of the cleaning, working, and taking care of the children. What you want and need will be ignored, and you'll be emotionally abandoned all of the time. You constantly find yourself holding in your feelings and opinions. When you finally do speak up for yourself or the narcissist doesn't get their way, prepare for the narcissistic injury to occur, followed by narcissistic rage. You're constantly devalued and discarded more than you'll be loved and adored. As you contemplate leaving, in comes the calm. At least for a brief moment, you'll have some temporary happiness where you put leaving the narcissist on the back burner. Rinse and repeat.
Facts. When you're married to a narcissist, it feels like you are married to nobody. It literally feels like you're by yourself. You don't have that partner. You don't have that person you can lean on. If you're married to a man who's a narcissist, forget about leading, because he don't even know what that is even about. He's going to sit there and play video games all day. You see that spot right there where my dog's toys are out? Right there is where he used to have his gamer's chair. He used to sit there and play all day and all night. There's nothing worse than feeling alone when you're really not alone. It's nothing worse than feeling all by yourself and isolated when you have someone right there with you, living with you, eating with you, sleeping next to you, and still somehow you feel empty inside and all alone, and you don't have any peace. And now I feel absolutely amazing because I have my peace. And
You know, I've counseled a lot of people who literally are married to narcissists. There is a disorder called narcissistic personality disorder. A narcissist many times comes out of a life of chaos or pain, and at some point, and sometimes they don't, but most of the time there's a negative environment, and they just became, entombed within themselves. Everything's about them. They're the center of the universe, and no one else matters. In fact, the only people they will put around them are people who enable them to be self-centered. And I'm not just talking about a selfish person. I'm talking about a person who it's all about them. And when people come to see me and they say, I'm married to a narcissist, my answer to them is, The percentage of narcissists who change is extremely low, and they're never encouraged by that. But I say it to them because it's the truth. Of all the years that I have dealt with narcissists, again, I'm not talking about people who are just odd or a little bit selfish. I'm talking about people who no one else matters except them. They're just sick with narcissism. Narcissus was a mythological character who looked at his reflection in water and fell in love with himself. So narcissism means I'm in love with myself. I'm the center of the universe. I worship at my own throne. And if I do believe in God, God's all about me. Everything about God is about me. So here's what I say to people married: pray. Because the only hope for your spouse being changed, if they're a narcissist, is the power of God changing them. Is they absolutely are going to have an encounter with God. God can do anything. If you focus on your spouse who is a narcissist, well, that's not very encouraging. If you focus on yourself, I'm sure you're worn out with trying to change them already and dealing with them. But if you focus on God, there's hope. And my encouragement to you would be two things, very important things. Don't enable it. If your spouse is a narcissist, don't enable it. Don't go along with it. Don't be mean, but don't worship at their throne. Don't let everything be about them. Remind them that there are other people in the room. Remind them that there are other people's feelings to be considered. Don't enable it, because many narcissists are surrounded by enablers. You need to lovingly stand up to it. The second thing is pray your guts out and get other people to pray with you, that God would change their hearts. That's the way I would deal with a narcissist.
Let me tell you what marriage to a toxic, narcissistic man would look like. This was going to be your future. That discard, the fog, you coming out the fog is your blessing. Trust me, you are leveling up, because this is what your life would have looked like otherwise. The day after you exchanged vows would be the beginning of the devaluing process. However, this devaluation would look a lot different than it did when you two were dating. Yeah, you would break up to make up, have that great makeup sex and get you all dizzy. And so you're back in the saddle trying to build and be stronger and better with every breakup. Legally, you are tied to this man. So he has no reason to keep any mask on. You about to see mask off for real. Okay? The rules are going to change. He is no longer going to pretend to care about what you want or what is meaningful to you. He literally has you. Okay? So the devaluing process is going to look a lot worse, and it's going to come on very fast. He is going to continue to cheat on you. However, now he's not going to try to hide it. He has no reason to try to hide it, because where are you going? Where are you going? And the reason I ask where are you going is because financially, he's already compromised you, or he has set you up to be compromised. So now you're in a position where you can't leave. And if you could, he's going to make it very difficult. If you have children, or if you are expecting, he is going to double down on his control tactics to keep your reality in question, to keep your emotions heightened. And he's going to invite his mama, his cousins, his sister to get in on bullying you. And you are going to have to be silent, because what is most important is maintaining that image. You have now married him. Your role is to maintain that happy family unit. So you are going to be silenced even more than you were before, because that is the expectation now that you are his wife. You're also going to be expected to give him sex whenever he wants it, however he wants it. If you don't, you have the threat of him coming home smelling like another woman. And again, what are you going to do about it? You will constantly be compromised at every turn. That is what marriage looks like to a narcissistic man.
In today's video, we're talking about why narcissists get married. Ever ask yourself that question? I think we all have at one time or another, especially those of us who have had the horror of marrying and divorcing a narcissist. For those of us who have children with a narcissist and are trying to divorce a narcissist and keep their children safe, this is a hell on earth I would not ever wish on anyone. Narcissists make the world's worst spouses and parents. So why do they do it? Today, we're going to dig into that question. So what is the reasoning that narcissists get married? Because based on their behavior and the abuse they subject their spouses to, they definitely aren't getting married and having children for the reasons that we are. So why do they do it? One of the main reasons they get married is for their image. This is a societal norm that they recognize as something that is expected of them. Nothing is more important to a narcissist than image. Another reasons that narcissists get married is to nail down and basically own a never-ending source of narcissistic supply. Of course, you likely won't be aware of this before you are married. However, that is a very big reason why narcissists get married. Next, many narcissists get married because they believe that the spouse/victim won't ever leave. They believe that the contract of marriage will keep the person chained to them indefinitely. Another reason many narcissists get married is so that they can have a punching bag and a dumping ground to utilize for blaming them for everything that goes wrong, whether the spouse is responsible for it or not. Narcissists take zero accountability for the bad things they do or the outcomes that they are responsible for. Next, one of the main reasons that narcissists get married is to have a slave. Someone they can demand does everything that the narcissist wants. Someone who is used for sexual gratification whenever and however the narcissist wants. Someone available to the narcissist at any moment for them to rage at and degrade, humiliate, ridicule, and abuse when they are out in the real world and someone gives them a narcissistic injury. Another reason that narcissists get married is because they need and crave someone they can control. One of the main ways that narcissists gain narcissistic supply is from the psychological manipulation and control that they gain over other people. And their spouses are their number one victim for this purpose.
This is what it's like being pregnant while you're married to a narcissist. So right off the bat, he didn't want to be on birth control. Told me that if I did get on it, he would stop sleeping with me, his wife, because I was defiling my body in such a terrible way taking birth control, and he refused to sleep with someone that defiles their body that way, while he is drinking and smoking everything all day long, every day. But me being on birth control was like, I mean, from his reaction to him finding out that I'm pregnant and then he's realizing, oh crap, I have more responsibility for someone and less control over my time now, and my wife doesn't get to drink with me anymore, so now she's boring, not kidding, to where I also had to put everything together for the baby and bring it upstairs myself because he was just too tired or too busy to do it. He also didn't want to know the gender of the baby. He said that that was very important to him, and I honestly feel like that was a complete lie. Because people do wait, and whatever. I was complete opposite of like, I want to know what it is, and now I really feel like it was a control thing, and also an excuse to why he didn't do stuff with me. Like, he didn't go shopping for clothes, because he's like, there's no point in shopping for clothes because we don't know what the gender is. And I'm like, okay, well, our baby is going to have zero clothes? Like, we can't get gender-neutral clothes? And he's like, well, I just think that it'll be hard, and I just think it'd be easier if you did it by yourself. Cool. Also, he didn't pay for any of the clothes. It was all for me, so, yeah. And before you ask, no, he did not go shopping for stuff that has nothing to do with the gender, like diapers, wipes, soap, I don't know, just normal stuff like that. My mom and sister even drove 2 hours one day to come to my house to help me set up the nursery, had to like clean out this nasty closet full of all of his crap, and they had to do that because he could never take off work, and then when he got off work, he was too tired to help me, whatever, and the day that they came down, he stayed off work. Didn't help us, though. Just took the day off because he was sleepy and not feeling good. No, it's because he needed to spy on what my mom and sister were going to say about him. I decorated the nursery by myself. He told me that having a baby shower was selfish because we shouldn't be asking people for stuff. And even when I was putting the changing paper together, I was like, I would love for us to put this together. And he said, yeah, let me get like 5 minutes. And he just slept on the couch the entire time. Even when we were at the hospital giving birth, he did not hold his son until 3 hours after he was born because he had to go to the liquor store. So yeah, being pregnant with a narcissist, you feel really, really special and loved.
There is nobody as single as a married narcissist. In their twisted mind, they might be married, but it's not that serious. They'll convince everybody that they're headed for a divorce. They're leaving their spouse. Minor detail they forgot to tell. Their spouse. Narcissists are always living two lives. Even when they are married, they're out there living like they're single. If you are married to a narcissist, you could have the house with the white picket fence. You could have 2.5 kids and Sunday dinners at Nana's. And they're still out there swinging it like they're single the minute they walk out that door. And Nana knows it. She knows about the hookers, too.